There is a war out here for your attention. The big companies right now within the social media sphere, what they want to do to you is they want to brainwash you. Let me explain. So if you really think about the idea of brainwashing from 50 years ago, during Cold War or something, sometimes around that, you will notice that whenever people think about showing a certain image to a person and then showing a certain message to a person through a screen or through an image flashed to their face, that's considered brainwashing. That's like the prime technique of how to get this message into people's mind. But nowadays we voluntarily looking at our social media, looking at our phone, where our phone has so many notifications, and then you click through these notifications, it shows you these like very aggressive news that shock you immediately when you look at them. They're trying to fight for your attention. It's almost like our brain has become this real estate for these companies. So back in the days, of course, we're trying to buy good real estate. We're trying to occupy as much space as possible. That's how people make money potentially. But now, if you really think about it, our brain is being used as a part of this real estate. If a company is strong enough, like Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, which are based around the same company, so they will go around and try to occupy as much space in your brain as possible. Because now, when they have this real estate in your brain, when they occupy these certain spaces in your brain, they can now put advertisement in it. That's how their business model is. That's why Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of these major apps that require a lot of users to function, these apps are free for you on the surface because you don't pay for them, but advertisers are paying them for the part of your brain that it occupies. Let me talk to you about this in this way. Whenever you're watching a YouTube video, it's trying to fight for your attention. Retention is a word where when you are constantly watching this video or when you're constantly consuming this media content, now you are choosing to stay on the app, choosing to stay in the virtual world, choosing to stay in the control of this app and this company. Around that time, they can just push through different messages, push through different advertisement to change the way your brain work and to make you addicted, first of all, and second of all, to push through their agenda by selling you stuff. Now, this is very scary because none of these processes are clearly visible for you as a consumer because you just sign a contract which you don't really read it because it's so long. They make it so long that it's impossible for you to actually carefully read the entire content field. And even if you carefully read it and say, okay, I'm agreeing to this voluntarily, there's also hidden damages that social media can do to you. So for example, if you watch a lot of video of people, just like pretty people doing like weird things. So this is a random example. Now, they're gonna recommend you even more videos like that. And over time, your entire feed will become, that's AI generated, will become a string of videos and stuff on these weird people doing weird things. Those are damaging for a lot of people's mind, especially teenagers, when our mind is malleable. But for the average adult, it still really changes the way we think. Whenever we open our phone, we just see this one singular message. That's what brainwashing is. It would tell us what to think. Now, just think of it in another way. If you are bombarded by the political content on your Instagram and social media, then when you click on these videos, and if you just watch this for slightly longer than you should be watching, they will recommend you all the videos in that political field. So essentially, when you are constantly being exposed, whenever you open your feed, to this information, to this skewed one type of political information, naturally, you will be being brainwashed into thinking like them. That's how scary it is. Because you don't notice this, but it literally happens to every single person. When you open a new account on like TikTok or Instagram Reel, if you open a new account, now all the recommendations are based on what's most popular. But once they get to know like which video you stay slightly longer in watching, and you watch something for slightly longer, now they will get it. Like you like that kind of content, and they're gonna push more and more that kind of content to you to make sure you stay on the app as long as possible so that they can make their ad revenue for the company. This is super scary because now you're essentially watching these handmade, tailored messages to you, right? It's self-selection system. So when you choose to watch politically right content, it will constantly push you politically right content on this app. Now, there's no way around it because when you are watching them, it's really hard to stop. The entire programming of app like Instagram and short form video app like TikTok is essentially they're engineered in a way that make you stay on the app as long as possible. And then they will send this information to you. Just imagine a room full of coders, computer scientists, and then people that do this kind of coding for the company. And every single day they're coming up with new ideas and new strategies to make you stay just a little longer, to optimize the app. There's not a single place on the planet Earth that's as optimized as a virtual space. So if you think about like a really beautiful hotel, like Hilton Hotel, yes, it's curated, or yes, it's gorgeous looking from the outside and inside, and the service is perfect, but there's still flaws. You know, sometimes you can see dust on the floor. You can see a string of hair in your washing room sink. These are just natural occurrence. They cannot make the physical space perfect. It's incredibly hard to make the physical space perfect, right? But it's so easy for them, for the coders and computer scientists, programmers, to make the virtual space completely perfect. So they can optimize every single day. So a Hilton hotel also is really pretty, but they cannot renovate it every single day to make it fit the modern standard of beauty. Like they couldn't do renovation every single day. But with an app, there's updates literally every single day, right? Sometimes a couple times a day, there are new updates, changing the mechanism, changing the way app works, because that's how they can make you even more addicted to it. If you think about how life was even like 5 to 6 years ago, when social media wasn't really big a thing. Like some people still use social media back in the times, 5 years ago, but you can see like we're mostly emerging in the real world. Mostly we're spending time in the real world. But nowadays, like just think about it today. How long did you spend on your social media? How long did you spend with your eyes glued to a screen? Now this could be Netflix. This could be these other content creators, so bigger content creators, who make videos, who make films, who make feature-length films. So these are like even more expensive content creators. So think about like a studio like Marvel, DC. What they really want is not sending through a message to you. It's not sending through, okay, heroism is good, helps the weak. None of the Marvel movies nowadays, if you look at the Marvel movies now, none of the Marvel movies send that message. It's just entertainment. It's purely entertainment. It was trying to keep your eyes glued to the screen as long as possible so they can sell even more. They can sell even more Marvel products. So it's all like that. Just think about these companies as fundamentally content creators. They're trying to fight and compete for your attention, for your mental real estate. As much as the space they can occupy, they can squeeze more money out of you. So think about like you spending a huge ticket to go to like something like a fan expo. So that's where you can meet some celebrities, right? If you go to Comic-Con, just think about like how much of that is mental programming that they're doing. And then that's the way they're selling you a ticket and costing you physical money to go there and then to live realistically through your mental real estate. So if Marvel occupy part of your mental real estate, now they can use that piece of mental real estate to sell you stuff like the tickets for the Comic-Con. Things like that. Just think about this. This is literally immersed in every single day's life. This is very important to you because you can even feel it. You can even feel the effect that social media has on you. It's very obvious that your life is not the same as 5 years ago, as 6 years ago, as 10 years ago. Our father's generation, when they're growing up, when they're our age, they don't face this kind of social media stuff. They deal with their daily life. They wake up, brush their teeth, wash their face. They don't just wake up and look at their phone and then stay on there for I don't know how long. Because a lot of people actually spend the first hour of their waking hour just glued to their phone, checking email, looking at social media, and replying constantly into the string of digital world. And how much of the digital world look perfect to you? It's curated so well that's meant to grab your attention, that's meant to draw you in. It's almost like, if you're thinking about like mythology, it's like an evil folk spirit that's trying to suck you in. And then once you're indulging in them, they're gonna eat you alive. That's how it is. They get you something nice, a warm feeling. They change you into a beautiful woman to lure you in the virtual world. They show you the beauty, ecstasy, complete freedom in the digital world on the surface, not real freedom. But they lock you in by doing that, and afterwards they're gonna eat you alive. That's how it is. They're gonna change the way you think, and then they're gonna program your brain. Your brain is now somewhat close to a computer. They can now program you to think certain ways. It's like the crisis of like the election crisis, how valid it is. Because sometimes you see on social media, these political information that you see on social media will skew you towards voting one way or another. They literally program your brain to change your behavior and essentially control you. So the most powerful people nowadays in modern society today is not the US government. It's not the Chinese government, of course not. It's not the Iranian government. It's not all of these powerhouses, right? It's not Jerusalem. It's not the Jews. The most powerful people today are the people that control what you see on social media. Are these big companies, Facebook, their programmers literally control the way you think, and in turn control the way you behave, the way you spend, the way you live your entire life. You're now a slave, essentially, by these mechanisms, by these distance mechanisms. In a traditional sense, you are a slave because you no longer have freedom when you're indulging so much in social media, when you are being quote-unquote controlled by the social media, because you have not lost your choice of freedom. You're not following the order of these overlords that try to brainwash you every single moment. Now just open your Instagram right now and look at what's going on. After every like maybe 3 posts from your friends and family, you'll see a bunch of people there you don't know. You just add it on Instagram for fun, right? You'll see them living their good life. You consider, oh my God, why can't I do this? You see someone dining in this specific restaurant. Okay, this restaurant look cool. Should I go there? I should probably go there, right? That's what you like instantly think. Not to mention, after every 3 posts, you will see an ad, almost immersed perfectly, hiding in plain sight. Now, on the surface level, you recognize that's an ad. That's not something that your friends posted. But your brain doesn't process that completely. When they scroll and they see it's following a nice post of your friends having like a birthday party, you see the ad and see the information they're selling you. Your emotion didn't change yet. Your emotion is still in the framework that you just saw your friends having birthday party. They're so joyful, they're so happy, and then you see this ad. Your emotion is still there in the happy place when you see this ad, and you associate this ad with a feeling of happiness. And they listen to you now. They pay attention to your Google search, right? Think about this. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok know your Google searches. That's in their mechanism to know it, because you signed a contract when you first sign up on the app. They can now know all your search history. They know exactly what you're looking for. You're trying to buy something, you search on Google, now they know. You're trying to ask your friend a question, do you know where you get that tie from? And then your friend's like, okay, it's from da, da, da. But then you open your Instagram, sometimes they just give you an advertisement of that tie. Some tie you can look for, maybe some shopping website, Shopify, things like that. That's the way they change you. That's the way they program you to do something, to buy something that you don't need, to skew your attention into buying something that they choose for you. Now, doesn't that count as a slave? It's worse than slavery because they're literally feeding you what they can. And I'm not gonna really dig into the economic effect on this, but it's very scary because when they know they can manipulate you in buying exactly what you want, they can name as high as a price as possible because they know you want it and you're willing to pay a high price for it. Now they can mark up the price. So it's not simply like looking at stuff in a supermarket, because in the supermarket, they couldn't really mark up prices because people value things differently. Each person that shops there values things differently, so they couldn't change the base price. That's the basic of microeconomic, but I'm not going to bore you with that. But think about this, okay? All these mechanisms, they build this grandiose virtual space. In the future, there will be VR, you're living in a goggle. So the real world is being slowly replaced by the digital realm, by the digital world. They are controlled by these technocrats. So these mega, super influencing companies, corporates, that literally try to program your brain and try to lure you in and control the way you behave. And once you step one step back and pay attention to what's happening, it's so obvious. This is not me saying this. You can also view this on your own. You can also see these effects on your own time. It's quite obvious once you take a step back. All of this, I'm just trying to tell you that you really need to protect your attention by saying no. By saying no to these influences. By saying no to spending too much time on social media. By saying no to spending too much time watching Netflix. By saying no to spending too much time watching TV shows, television, different media programs, news. They change the fundamental way of you think. And then in turn, because you're thinking differently, you're behaving differently, you're becoming a different person. Think about yourself at 12 years old, at a time where there's no social media influence, or like when you're even younger, when there's no social media influence. You are a different person. You have individuality by the default of you being a creative human being, or being equipped with ideas, new ideas, and how to learn, how to engage with the world that are creative and independent. But now we're all but the same because we are programmed by social media. Just think about the way people dress nowadays. Young kids, teenagers, dressed all in the same way, programmed by TikTok trends. The beauty, the most prettiest girl on TikTok, that's how they dress like. So I should dress like that too, right? No, you're an independent person. You need to think independently. And don't subscribe to any kind of process and mechanism without knowing the benefits and the pros and cons of being in that field, being in that set mindset programmed by other people. You need to think independently, and you need to protect your attention. Your attention now is the most primal real estate that these companies are fighting for. This is where your value is at. You need to protect your attention, to steer your attention, to steer your attention into other places that are actually important, to change the way your brain works, to change the way your brain is being controlled by the others, and take responsibility and take ownership back of your brain and your attention. This is a way you will be successful in life, because when everyone else is being controlled, you will be free. And by being free, you will gain money. Literally every single aspect of life you really want is coming from freedom. It's coming from time. You will save so much time and have this time for yourself and for your self-development, for yourself to figure out what you want to do. Come up with your own ideas. Don't listen to my ideas too much. Come up with your own ideas. Open up your mind. Take a step back and view the world with critical lens, with cynicism, with a lens that can tell you objective truth. See the world objectively, and then decide what you do. Always protect your attention. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.